You know, a lot of people ask me, they say, Jeff, isn't Jeffmas just Festivus warmed over? And I must admit, I get a little offended by that question. Jeffmas, Festivus, two different holidays, and have very little to do with one another, except perhaps in one respect. And that goes back to elementary school, the playground, December back in the day, lower Minnesota, heavy snow that winter. It's a crisp winter's day. We're out on the playground during recess. Most of my friends are playing King of the Mountain on this great mound of plowed snow, which was borderline illegal, so all the playground monitors, teachers in other words, were surrounding them, trying to maintain the peace and bow to the inevitable. So my bully had me all to himself. Yes, I had a bully. His name was Chuck. I can't remember his last name to save my life. I can see his face plain as day. Now, Chuck's resentment toward me originated from the fact that had there been such a thing at the time, I would have been in what they call the talented and gifted program, only because my parents had the foresight to teach my sister and I how to read early on, so that by the time I got to first grade, I was a reader, plain and simple. And so they tried to keep me busy in various ways, the most interesting being teaching me Spanish. And once a week, the high school Spanish teacher would come over and spend time with me, which was great for me because the lady was kind of hot. So Chuck was one of those that kind of resented what he probably perceived as special treatment. Well, he took it out on me in various ways. He had a name for me, initials, in fact, EA, which stood for educated ass. I won't say I didn't deserve that from time to time, but it got to be a constant refrain. That day, something snapped in me. And when he cornered me on that playground, when all the rest of my friends were having a great time, something primal, something dark and borderline violent welled up within me, and I tackled him. Much to his surprise, in seconds, I had him on his back, on the ground, straddling his chest, and just pounding him in the chest with both fists. Now, you'd think that would have done a lot of damage, except this was midwinter, and we're both bundled up in thick quilted parkas, layers and layers, snowsuits, 2 sets of mittens, hats, hoods. I mean, we looked like a couple of Stay Puft Marshmallow Men wrestling. So really, I couldn't do much damage, but yet as I rained blows upon him, I got more and more exhausted, and at some point I could raise my hands no longer, when Chuck just looked up at me and said, "You know, I think recess is over." And I look up, and sure enough, the kids are heading for the door. Hadn't heard the bell. We got up, walked back to class, and he never bothered me again. The first Jeffmas miracle. So yeah, Jeffmas, Festivus, we share the feats of strength, but very little else.